Captain, incoming message.
It was the dawn of the third age of mankind.
Groovy.
Hi-ho. This is me, Kermit the Frog.
Hello there.
Moopsy.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Not a great plan.
Program complete. Enter when ready.
Let's see what's out there. Engage.
Hey there, we're those Sci-Fi guys, and this is the Sci-Fi Guys show. Just two working dudes, different lives, different jobs, with a whole lot of love for science fiction and the fun that comes with it. We are your hosts. I am P.S. McKay, and full disclosure, for the last 2 days, I have not sweat at all in the mid-summer of the Central Valley in California.
I'm DT Cavman, and you have a serious health problem.
Yeah, I know. That would be indicative of me not being able to feel pain. However, it has been
you can't feel pain?
Cool.
I have a lot of pain. I could send you pain. I have
but
pain
all the
to
emotional, the physical, the historical, the ethical.
Oh, you've got enough emotional baggage to fill up a fucking warehouse. I was just talking physical pain. Your brother, I hang out with him.
Oh, crap. He's telling family secrets. Shit.
Hey, you offer him a hard seltzer and...
Yeah, I know. And all it takes is a blackberry White Claw, and he's good to go.
I introduced him to some good Maine Craft Distilling.
Oh, yeah?
It's a brand, Maine Craft Distillery. It's good, too. Their Blue Shine lemonade of blueberry moonshine in a can. It's nice.
Oh, blueberry moonshine? Really?
Yeah, it's blueberry moonshine and mixed with lemonade in a can.
Okay.
It's very nice.
Okay.
They also have this like version of a Cape Codder. It's like, a little cranberry and lime. Again, these are they're more than just like they have flavor. Unlike, some of these Trulies and Neutrals, they're all supposed to be like super light on calories and also very light on flavor.
Yeah. You just brought back a memory of mine. No fault of your own. Technically it was, though.
Sure.
My wife, when we were first living together before we got married, that was her drink, the Cape Codder. I would call it the Codder. For fun.
There's literally a brand called like Cape Codder.
Yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, she would ask for like a vodka and cranberry on ice, and I would just make that for her. Like, it's been years since the last time she's ever had that. She in her later years, she just sticks to wine. Maybe the occasional margarita, which I'll make for her with the mix, but yeah, that was her go-to drink, the Cape Codder. So
that's good.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, this is our last broadcast before we actually I go on vacation, and there's a little bit of a hiatus, but don't worry, you're going to be hearing this during the hiatus that we're gone. You're really not going to know this, everybody, so don't worry about it. So why bring it up? I just did.
Yeah, well, it's all good.
Yeah. How you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. Okay. Got dealing with some, some injury, a little bit of a knee issue. But it's all good because, I've got to be back in the game here very shortly. This Saturday, we're busy.
I hear you have some pickleball that you need to work on.
Pickleball?
Nah, that's just my brother. He's been playing pickleball at the mutual club that you guys belong to.
Yeah,
he misses it.
Has
So
I mean, I probably would if I could get down there more.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I just don't get down there that much. But no, this weekend is the run to home base, and my family and I are doing it. I'm wearing the hat,
Oh,
so
that's right.
we're excited to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a team from my company that I'm honchoing. In fact, tomorrow I've got to drive all the way up into the city to go get our packets for the bibs. They give a T-shirt and a hat. Kind of hoping they have a good hat this year. This is a good hat because it was for every year they have some theme. This year was like special operations for 23, so it was all subdued. It was all black with gray.
Yeah, that would be special ops, right?
Well, that's what
refresh the audience
was.
of what run to home base is.
So home base is actually it is a organization that was created to help treat the invisible wounds of war, TBI, PTSD, other things along those lines. But unlike, say, trying to go to the VA or other veterans organizations, this actually treats and it's tied in with like Mass General and like some of the big hospitals in Boston. But the big thing is it treats people regardless of their discharge status. Okay, so so let's just say you have a soldier who got wounded or injured in the line of duty and got addicted to painkillers. Okay, they end up maybe getting pulled over, high on oxy or something, right? You can get chaptered up, army busted out. You can end up with a other than honorable or a bad conduct discharge or dishonorable discharge or something like that for, actions that are actually consequences of either addiction
or injury.
Yes, like severe head injuries can change personality, things like domestics, come from some of these people who've had their brains rattled around. Unfortunately, and we're not excusing this at all, but there is a causality. And
absolutely,
home base actually treats people even if they were put out for something other than an honorable discharge, which helps. It helps with the treatment. It helps with people,
better benefits,
getting help, right? And it's right there in Boston. It's partnered with Mass General Hospital. It's partnered with the Red Sox Foundation. It's right there. It's literally one of their offices is right there next to to where Old Ironsides is docked. And they've got,
I like that.
Yeah. But they have
USS Constitution,
clinics.
everybody.
Yep. And they do have clinics that are like all over the world. Since 2009, home base has served over 45,000 of some of the most injured U.S. veteran service members and their families from all 50 states, 5 territories, and 9 countries. Okay. 85,000 plus clinicians and first responders trained to recognize and treat the invisible wounds. 95% graduation rate of the national clinical programs, and 93% of veterans would recommend home base to a fellow veteran. These are just some of the things. So one of the things that they do is since they're partnered with the Red Sox Foundation, they literally do a run to home base, which is you start at home base, you start at Fenway Park, and you do a 5 or a 9K, and then you come in through center field, walk down the wall, the green monster, come down third base. You end up on home plate, and there's usually, Red Sox alum, maybe some current players. Since they'll be home this weekend. You'll probably get a pitcher or somebody who will be there sometimes it's like a starting pitcher who's not starting that night might be there in full uniform, fist bumping people. Like I got to fist bump Chris Sale and Tim Wakefield 2 years ago. That was freaking awesome. And they're there for however many thousand, hundreds of thousands or hundreds.
They wait.
Yeah, they're there the whole time, and they're very
you gotta love
encouraging.
that.
So it was cool. And this year I've got a team doing it, and we're gonna all go in together, but we're all not gonna finish at the same time. So but everybody's gonna get a chance to do that, and this will be neat. I'm really looking forward to it. It's something that it was a bucket list item for Mrs. Cavman and I. This is the 16th year that they're running it. They actually have a virtual option too. And my team, through the donations, because when you sign up, you have to raise a certain amount of money. My team, 12 of us, have raised 10 grand.
Shit.
Yep.
I mean, that's shit. Only 10 grand. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I couldn't maintain that for very long. That's incredible. 10 grand. Seriously.
We had two guys who really took off running. Like one guy's an operator at, he like runs a warehouse and whatever. And so one guy had like a market cornered and raised a couple of grand. Another guy raised about 1,500. Everybody else had to raise roughly about at least 500 minimum. I got a little over my minimum. And if you don't raise the minimum, you have to put a card down when you join. You have to put a card down and put your entry fee, and then they just charge you the difference. So it behooves you to get out there. The good thing is, and my kid is doing it again, but they're only like anybody under like 18 only has to raise $50, which is good. Me as a veteran, and you can sign up under the early bird, like in the first window, and then it's a little cheaper. So I only had to raise a couple $100 comparatively. I raised a little over, and, it's not easy either right now. It seems like nobody's got money. Everybody's got causes. So the fact that we were able to get people to do it, and our company did chip in some matching for some, which is great, but we're extremely grateful. And as the team captain, I'm going to go pick up all of our gear tomorrow, and we'll meet up Saturday morning. I'll disperse everybody's bibs and stuff like that. And then we'll have a team. And I would hope that this becomes like a thing that the company kind of gets behind. I mean, it's been behind us, the whole time, but if it shows that it's successful and it could also maybe get our company's face out there a little bit, then maybe it becomes a regular thing. And maybe next year somebody else is team captain or running it or something. As long as I'm there, I'm happy to do this because I believe in the cause. But it's really cool. And, for me, it does kind of this crossover between my personal life and experience and my new professional life and experience. And we all know how much people like crossovers.
Oh, masterfully done, sir. Chapeau. Bring us home.
Well, nice reference there. So our topic tonight is a little more esoteric, but with
everything we do is esoteric,
right? But
esoteric.
if you watch some of the latest big sci-fi superhero fantasy projects, there's a strong element. Like there's in most Superman movies, it's generally been the Superman story, right? Man of Steel was pretty much solely a Superman story. Christopher Reeve's Superman, even Superman Returns, all very solo, insular Superman stories, right? So were the Batman movies back in the 80s and 90s. But this Superman was the first time you had other superheroes showing up. Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho. You have 5 in this. And
was Mr. Terrific? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, keep going.
I mean, did we determine if Mr. Terrific was a creation of James Gunn's or like a very
No.
obscure character that was barely used and he brought it out of mothballs?
So the Arrowverse had a version of Mr. Terrific.
Okay.
He turned out in the last couple of seasons of Arrow, they had a version of Mr. Terrific.
Okay.
Mr. Terrific was also in the DC animated universe when they went to Justice League Unlimited. So
okay, they had hundreds of superheroes in Justice League Unlimited, like literally on that space station. Like,
right,
Superman standing there, like, all right, you go to this place in East Asia, you go to South America for this issue, you know, like just.
And Mr. Terrific eventually took over running the Watchtower in Justice League Unlimited because of the cybernetic implants, his intellect, everything. He could run, you know, where, you know, he was the guy assigning where the league goes and stuff like that. So it was that was kind of neat. But this was like, you know, the first time, like, sure, Superman, Man of Steel, the next movie in that series was Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. So it was like almost like, you know, proto Justice League. But really, it was just Wonder Woman.
Yeah. I mean, they alluded to Flash and Aquaman and Cyborg. But
you got the little video clips, even though Jason Momoa was in a lot of the promotional material for that one.
There was a perfect moment for him to be in Batman v Superman, and the Hishi, how it should have ended, brought up that point. I don't know why they didn't follow through. You know that they were going to have him do it, but
you know, and I like how it should have ended. I used to watch that a lot back in the day.
I used to too, and then the Great Cough happened.
No, then I went down the rabbit hole of Honest Trailers a lot after that. But both Honest Trailers, they did cross over one time.
They did, yeah.
Honest Trailers and How It Should Have Ended crossed over, and I kind of squeed.
That was good. Don't ever say that word again, please.
No, it was so
was so
cringy. Yeah, I did kind of like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
But, you know, we have that, but you also have, you know, Strange New Worlds has and, you know, they did the crossover, whatever it was, 2 years ago with Lower Decks, and Star Trek has had a history of crossovers. But for me, what kind of got me thinking, I'm in the middle of a new Babylon 5 rewatch, it was great because it was literally on Prime, and then halfway through season 3, they dropped it, and now I've got to watch it through Roku or Tubi, and it's way more painful.
That's why I bought the goddamn show. I mean, I just bought it.
I mean, I have all the seasons on DVD, but the big TV is in the base is downstairs. The only place with a DVD player is upstairs.
Oh.
So if I wanted to watch it at night, I couldn't. Sir. Well, it's more because it's hard to do that when you mount a TV now, a flat screen, and then you're trying to hide everything else.
So. Oh, yeah. We don't do that. We don't have a mounted TV. It wouldn't work in our house, but I get you. I hear you.
It's the only way it does work in our house right now.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
The big space over the fireplace. Anyway.
When was your house built?
2021.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was built for that.
Exactly. But I was watching B5 and I'm like, of all the fictional sci-fi universes, which one would B5 cross over with the best? That started spinning in my mind. I did not think of that one, actually. I thought with the
technology would be very similar.
Technology would be similar. Yes.
Yeah.
I was actually leaning more towards Star Wars because
Yeah.
You know, it's at times more space opera than hard sci-fi.
Ooh, can I disagree with you here?
I said at times.
I know what you're saying. Babylon 5 was
Go ahead.
really good at they were really good about realistic science.
They were. Their technology is, to be honest with you, when I rewatch it, I'm like, I kind of hope some of the like the medical technology, I'm kind of hoping the medical technology would be a lot better in 200 years.
You know, and that's the thing. We talk about the all right, one last thing. We talk about the improvements in medical technology to nowadays, right?
Sure.
But the thing is, we still rely on the natural resources of the body to be able to rejuvenate itself in order to perfectly heal. We can slow down infection, but we can't stop it necessarily. We still have to rely on the body's immune system. We can't rejuvenate dermal. We can't regenerate dermal cells. We have to have the body do that, and we can only just like keep the viruses and the bacteria away while the body has the opportunity to do that. But we still are super dependent on natural processes. Whereas in Star Trek, not so much. You got a dermal regenerator. Boom, done. Hell, even in Marvel, they we saw that in Age of Ultron. I don't recall seeing something like that in Babylon 5. And yes, I agree with you. I would hope that the medical technology would be a little bit further along to be able to do that.
Sometimes,
I mean, case of point, that one episode where was it the Druze or the Draj? The one species that had that phage. That and it infected all of them and the entire planet.
Marcab.
The Marcab, yes, thank you. And that entire planet died. The entire species was dead.
Yes.
And by the way, devastating episode. Like
it was
absolutely horrifying. Like if I saw that, I don't remember watching that when I was younger.
I just watched it like
when I was
2
younger,
weeks ago.
Yeah, so it's fresh in your mind. I watched it a year and a half ago, fresh in my mind still. But if I saw that younger, I don't know if I would have reacted the same way as I did as an adult.
It doesn't. I don't think it quite hits sometimes. Like genocide is very hard to wrap your head around when you're young. Okay, and we were teenagers when that episode came out.
Technically not genocide, but yes, I know what you're saying.
Or genocide or mass extinction.
Mass extinction, yeah, that's even better. Yeah.
But even genocide is hard to tell, and there was plenty of thoughts of those in Babylon 5.
Absolutely.
Genetic cleansing, all sorts of big words.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And Babylon 5 really is a good show.
So you think that it would mesh well with Star Wars?
Well, when you start getting into the middle and later seasons, when you start dealing with, think of the Rangers.
Okay.
They're like warrior monks.
Like Jedi.
Kind of. Now, granted,
Except
I
they
think
have a
only
metal pole.
But only a few of them would do. By the way,
right.
I just watched an episode this morning. It was leading up to in season 4, where they're leading up into the final confrontation with the Shadows, and
okay.
they send this lone White Star to kind of distract, or actually kind of like stir the hornet's nest of the Shadows, and it's played to perfection by a young Bryan Cranston, this human captain. He was so good in that role, like knowing that he's going to die, like he and his crew, they're the sacrificial lamb in order for this entire gamble to pay off, and he does it like a champ. And you're like, oh, and if you've just seen him as, watching fresh off of playing Dr. Watley, the goofy dentist in like 5 or 6 episodes of
Who
Seinfeld.
Who converted to Judaism so he could make the Jewish
for the jokes. Yeah.
By the way,
Or like
also
the
a
episode
brilliant
where he
role.
takes a hit off the
Yeah.
off the nitrous.
The nitrous.
By the way, I heard that story. I think it was on like the Rich Eisen show or something. He was telling that story. He said they were working the scene and then they cut for lunch, and then he said, "Hey, you should." He hears somebody go, "You should take a hit off of that before you give it to Jerry." And it's the guy who's doing the lighting, and he's like, "That's fucking brilliant." And
Right?
he did
Yeah.
that, and it killed Jerry. And that's a great bit. And he's like, "Yeah, it was the lighting guy." Just nowhere.
That lighting guy needs to get writing credit.
Well, it's kind of like the story from Ragnarok where they had I think a Make-A-Wish kid come onto set, and he told Chris Hemsworth, "You should say he's a friend from work."
He's a friend from work. I
Which
didn't
was
know about that story. Or
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
you did mention it, but it was years ago.
Yeah, it was years ago. That movie came out. Oh my God, 8 years ago.
Well, I know that, but
But yeah, like
It
the
was
most
8 years
famous
ago,
line
wasn't
from most famous line from that movie. He's a friend from work.
that movie almost made my wife die from asphyxiation.
It was pretty funny.
She was taking a sip of, let's
Something.
say, water. Okay, she was taking a sip of water, and when Bruce jumps out of the ship onto the Rainbow Bridge to trigger Hulk, and then he just
hits the bridge.
Ragdolls, and he just hits the bridge. My wife, like, the water almost suffocated her. Yeah,
Dry
that was
like
a good
drowning.
scene.
It was a good
Yeah.
scene. It was a good movie. But yeah, man, that's a great behind the scenes story of Seinfeld and
That is
Bryan
good.
Cranston.
Yeah, Bryan Cranston's just brilliant in everything he does.
He is, and he does pretty effortlessly go between these hard hitting, intense roles to this goofball slapstick comedy, like as good as I've ever seen. But yes, the Rangers, formed from a purpose, war, they're definitely pseudo Jedi. They have no real powers, but they're skilled, they're linguists, they're all highly trained. They're part Jedi, part special ops, part, religious fanatics.
Super disciplined. Yeah.
And so, but also the technology is, hyperspace. But the technology is not dissimilar. There's no, yes, there's deflector shields in Star Wars, but it feels almost like the technology would jive not too terribly, and plus there's so much mysticism in B5 that it almost feels like it would fit Star Wars. Now, this, there's also like a chosen one too. Actually, the B5 was good. They had like 3 chosen ones. So you are the one who was. You are the one who is. Yes, and then they had their own crazy dude, Willie.
Yeah.
And they have their own version of Yoda,
will be
Zathras.
Oh yeah, he was the one, wasn't he?
No, Zathras.
Oh no, Zathras was the guy. He was the one that helped them
run the
put
Great
things
Machine
together.
Yeah,
on the Great Machine. Yeah. I just chose this photo because that's his face right here. That's what it is. I'm gonna go with
Bruce
it.
Boxleitner was great as Sheridan. The cast was excellent. And we probably, since you have seen B5, we should do maybe when we come back from our vacations, we should do a true, real good B5 review. Because
I do need to finish B5. It shouldn't take. I mean, I have a season and a half to finish.
well, you can chew this
Yeah.
up, man. We could
could.
make this a back to school kind of thing in September.
Yeah, we could do it. All right, so let me stay on the B5 bandwagon here.
Sure.
What about? And we don't have evidence of this technology, but what about B5 and Firefly?
Yeah. There's.
It would have to be an alternative thing. I mean, your Star Wars thing is. I mean, technically, Star Wars is in another galaxy far, far away.
Right. They always talk about the galactic, what's beyond the galactic rim in Star Wars, the rim. And in B5, going beyond the rim was kind of analog to death. They said that, like, particularly like when actors died, when they were still making projects and saying, oh, this person has gone beyond the rim. But that's also where Sheridan went when he passed from the mortal coil. But I don't think Firefly would fit in well here. Firefly, I think, would fit in better with Battlestar Galactica. The reboot Battlestar Galactica.
No, I mean, I don't disagree. But why would Battlestar Galactica fit better with Babylon 5 than Firefly?
Well, Babylon 5 is a little more fantastical to a degree than Firefly. Firefly is extremely grounded. Right? They don't have aliens. They don't have faster than light travel. Generational ships. That would just be my vibe. Like that's how I feel now.
The only two major nations that have survived in Firefly are China and the United States, essentially.
Yeah, but there's so many people with British accents and stuff. One of their planets is Londinium, so
that's true. How many planets are in Firefly, for freak's sake? In the habitable zone.
Tell. Because
that would just wreak havoc with gravitational pull.
Well, because there's planets and then there's like moons, but they're all like terraformed, and it feels like there's like 20 of these random inhabitable worlds somewhere. But again, in some ways, this is where it reminds me a little of Star Wars too. Is like the core, where like Coruscant, like the core worlds. Then you have the Rim, and the Outer Rim sieges and all this stuff from the Clone Wars, right? But most of the separatists were like breakaways from like the Rim and some of these areas, or the Mid Rim, and whereas the core worlds are like some of the older, more established planets, and that's in Firefly. That's where the Alliance was, but it was the people out on the Rim, these cowboys, these pioneers, these rebels in space. Were more agrarian. They were,
I think they're known as Rebs, but that's okay.
Brown coats.
I'm referring to the Civil War, but that's fine.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Friggin' Rebs.
But
Is that a slur?
What?
Rebs?
I don't know. Maybe back during the Civil War, Johnny Reb, Billy Yank, Blue Bellies,
I don't mind being called a Yank. I was in Texas and I called myself a stupid Yank for, being afraid to fire a gun. But,
Nope. I am too loyal to my baseball fan base to truly appreciate being called a Yankee by a Brit or a Southerner or anything. That's how I got
spoken like a true masshole over here.
Let me tell you, it helped break the ice with my father-in-law. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're some crazy Yankee, aren't you?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm a Red Sox fan. I find that term as offensive as you do." He laughed, and then it was good.
Okay, that
He's like,
works.
"All right." He's like, "Oh, well played."
Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, I mean that was well orchestrated. Good job. I'm not going to refute that. So,
Why do you think Firefly would fit well with B5?
well, I just think okay, so Earth bought the jump technology from the
Centauri, yeah.
Centauri. Thank you. I want to say centaurs. I wanted to say centurions, but it was the Centauri. Thank you.
The Centauri Republic.
Yeah, right.
They
They don't have 4 legs. Veer. So Earth bought jump gate technology, and they didn't develop it. They were able to buy it, and they were able to create an increase in their geopolitical sphere of influence.
Correct.
Cool. And that's what Earth wanted to do. And Earth, in and of itself, is a pretty remarkable world in comparison to the other worlds, even though they're at a technological disadvantage. Like they still held enough influence to be able to bring all these other I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but give me a second. They were able to
you want the quick B5 history of Earth, where Earth is by the time we get to the start of B5, because I can give you like a 2-minute rundown of that.
Nah, I'm just saying, like they had enough influence to be able to bring all these worlds together, even the more advanced worlds, under special, security circumstances and whatnot.
Much like
enough to
Star
bring
Trek,
advanced
all of that.
ambassadors.
There's something in humans that want to create big, create communities, which is
exactly
a theme that the Minbari called them out on. It was something that is talked about by Vulcans and other races in Star Trek about humanity.
Right, humanity
their
wants
own
to create
self-serving well. See, the other aliens won't want to slaughter us. We do good things in the universe.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think, and in this circumstance, Firefly, that universe didn't have jump gate technology. They had traditional, thrust technology to be able to get to the nearest star system that had the most likely chance of survival. So, and do we have any specific dates for Firefly at all?
Firefly is supposed to be like the 2600s, or excuse me, the 26th century. I think I've seen stuff that it's like the early 25 teens.
I'm going to cut my camera because I'm losing you. Hold on.
Firefly, yes.
So what was Firefly? 2600?
The 26th century, yes. The series is set in the year 2517. After
that
humans,
still feels a little too soon.
Yep, it's still only 500 years from now. Babylon 5
it would
200.
It would take 500 years to get to the closest star system, sublight, and then it would take at least 1,000 years to begin the terraforming processes on at least one planet. So
supposedly,
honestly, I'm not going to shit on Joss Whedon with the Firefly system or anything. But my image of Firefly is it's several thousand years down the line. And because they had to work to rebuild civilization, technology took a back seat in several ways, which is why they can only explore that one solar system. Fine, because they were fighting for survival to be able to create, their things. I still feel like both communities, both cultures, Firefly, the human culture and Firefly on the home worlds, and Earth in Babylon 5, they would actually commingle. They could have been the same ones.
Well, maybe. I still don't.
You disagree. That's okay.
And that's fine, because that's why we're here to talk about this.
Right.
You know, for me, the technological and the philosophical, I think, but for the most part, I think it might fit better in B5, because let's just say, Battlestar Galactica, right? Let's just say that, you know, it's not that the 12 colonies or whatever are not literally like 200,000 years in our past, or whatever it was, right, from the reboot. But what if when they get to Earth and they find that it's used up, and then they keep jumping, and then they find the star system with Firefly, right? They've got limited technology. It's not some of their technology, at least in spacecraft, is not dissimilar. Okay. There's no shielding, and even jump, and their faster than light travel is just a jump. It is not like, sustained. It's like, okay, you pick a point in the universe and throw a dart at it. But then, most of the time they're like puttering along at whatever sublight speed.
Sure.
Plus, the lack of extraterrestrial influence, I think, fits. There's also the idea of facing facing the biggest existential crisis, or the biggest, the most dangerous threat, is actually a creation of your own. The Cylons, the Reavers, again, nothing outside other than the wrong crafting hands of man, right? And there's enough religious undertone in Firefly, as there is in B5, more than most other sci-fi, that does seem to almost fit to a degree, along with, you have the shepherd, so say we all, and couldn't you just imagine Shepherd Book fitting right in?
They would. And maybe, oh man, I'm just going to make a remark that we're not going to be able to explore, because you and I are not well versed enough in it at all. But I would argue that religion in Firefly and Babylon 5, while was respected by the writers, was not exactly the writers didn't know how the religions worked, so to speak. In Babylon, I'll say Babylon 5 did a better job of it, in the sense that they were able to just say, oh, hey, like when Sheridan, was it Sheridan? Who was the first one?
Sinclair.
God damn. The S's, man. The freaking S's. You get mad at me. I get mad at myself for this. Okay, so Sinclair, when he was forced to try to figure out the best representative of religion on Earth during that Babylon 5 episode in the first season, he basically just like brought all of Earth's religions out there. That was respectfully done. Okay. And the exploration of religion was done through alien religions. Okay, good enough too. Ivanova had her, mentions of being Jewish and everything. Good too, right? Am I missing anything out of Babylon 5 on that one?
Oh no, yes, you are. In season 2, the monks that came to live on the station, because their holy mission, their order, was tasked with the purpose of trying to understand the face of God throughout the universe, and they wanted to interface with the alien races, because the theory is it's all one God. They
You're right.
just have a different face, and but the group that comes, it's specially picked people who can earn their keep, on Babylon 5 computer programming, and they appear from time to time. And I can't remember if it's the final appearance of these monks, but after B5 breaks away from Earth, they have basically a religious conclave where,
They do.
the monks invite some representatives of other religions. There was there was probably a Southern Baptist preacher or minister. You had an imam, you had I want to say a Buddhist monk, and of course a rabbi, and there was some good-natured jibing between them, but their mission there was to. It actually eventually helped uplift some of the spirits of some of the people of Babylon 5, particularly Sheridan and Delenn. But they've got this big revival, big religious revival song going on as Londo's exacting his revenge on his rival Lord Rifa in the caverns of Narn.
Right, I remember that. I do remember that.
It
Yeah,
stuck with me.
It's a Good Morning Vietnam dichotomy where you hear Louis Armstrong singing "What a Wonderful World" and you see all the horrors of war playing at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt you. I apologize, but you were cutting in and out a little bit. And
sorry, yeah, the religion aspect in B5, I think, was actually pretty strong and fairly well done too, as I think about it. But there was a very much a big faith feeling in both Battlestar Galactica. Their faith of the. I almost said the faith of the Seven.
Yeah,
but they believe in the gods of Kobol. Like I think all their planets are named after gods, that sort of thing. And then you have, there's also a bit of a religious undercurrent in Firefly. Clearly, you have a priest, a shepherd, and a man who has lost his faith in Mal Reynolds, where you see him in his first scene running, through fire and, kissing his cross as he thinks that they're about to, pull a whammy on the Alliance. And then when they lose and the Alliance comes and just crushes them, he loses his faith, right? And so you have these, philosophical discussions between Mal and Book throughout the series and into the movie. So I could see.
And I'm not meaning to crap on these discussions because they're good discussions. Trust me. I think that, and I don't even think that it's inappropriate with how they used religion in these circumstances, because, and I am not a pious man. I do not go to church. I'm Catholic light, maybe, if you can even call me that. But my history, DT.
Sure.
But I do believe. I'm not even going to go that far. What I'm trying to say is that these religious figures were written by Hollywood writers, and Hollywood is a very atheistic situation. And
true.
My point is, these religious people are supposed to be, they're written by atheists who want to show what they think religion should be in the future. And I don't think that is a genuine representation in one sense. But if you take the account that it's several hundred or even 1,000 years in the future, as I've mentioned about Firefly should be,
Sure.
then that might make sense. Does that even compute?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it does. There's some very sound logic with it, but I would say some maybe more in Babylon 5 because it seems to be more out there and it's not as hidden. You know, they have their own invented religion, foundationalists who, you know, it's a bit more. That's what Franklin subscribed to. It was, you know, a deeper understanding of the universe through.
I'm sorry, I'm losing you.
I got nothing for you on that.
Oh, damn. It's totally me.
Yep, I figured. Anyway.
Remove.
Anyway.
This. Oh, I totally lost DT. Dang, I lost DT. All right, well. Let me see if I can get him back. I mean, seriously, I was caught in the middle of him trying. No way, really? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to remove you. I thought I removed the thing. I'm sorry, DT.
You kicked me backstage, you ass.
My fault. It was my fault. I don't know. I admit it. I thought I was trying to remove the tab sharing. So
yeah,
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I was trying to go on about how B5 invented their own religion, foundationalism, which is, you know, growing about how to understand the universe and maybe even the face of God through, you know, since the advent of first contact with other sentient life forms and whatnot. But anyway, I do feel that it's an interesting universe, and there's definitely interesting. There's definitely interesting experiences when it comes to religion. But I still maintain, I feel that Firefly may jibe better with Battlestar, but that's just me. Now, on the flip side, you have, you know, what I find interesting in B5 is that it has a lot of similarities where you could almost say it's almost a cross between Star Trek and Star Wars to a degree, you know, with the great religious and like almost like existential threat of good versus evil.
Mm-hmm.
The Sith and the Jedi, the Vorlons and the Shadow, each pulling the side, you know, people from side to side, you know, trying to get people on their side and doing their bidding, so to speak.
Right.
But then it's also very Star Trek to a degree. You know, it's B5's trying to be like a United Nations in space, and what they end up doing, the Interstellar Alliance basically becomes the, you know, B5's attempt at the Federation, right? You know, you can get the Minbari are almost like Vulcan, you know, in their way of, you know, I wouldn't say they're the most peaceful, but I would say that they're like they're kind of Vulcan-esque with their discipline and their robes and, you know, their hierarchy and whatnot. Would you agree?
All right, so as we were talking about, enough with the religious talk. Let's talk about a couple other crossovers. So we got DT. What do you have?
Well, You know, we've talked B5 and some of its other crossovers where it would go. I don't think it would cross over very well with Star Trek to a degree because of just how I think at times vastly different the technology kind of is. I mean, technically, B5 is supposed to be at the same time that Kirk and the Enterprise are exploring the outer rim, the outer reaches of the Federation and whatnot. So, um, interesting. I mean, it almost looks like the technology of Enterprise would give B5
B5
a
a
real
little run for their money. Yeah,
yeah.
I agree. Well, they got
So
Vulcans that are, sharing things, some semi-sharing things, and Dorians that are sharing things. But yeah, I
but
agree.
here's what the similarity is: humanity in Enterprise is probably closer to the level of humanity to the rest of their neighbors, kind of what humanity kind of is in B5, if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's similarities there. Like you need to have the Earth Romulan War, and they form the humans kind of have to take leaps and bounds, and they do by making some allies, but gaining experience, and then they're able to overcome the Romulans. But they form the Federation, which is based in B5. Humanity almost gets wiped out by the Minbari, and then there's the big existential threat of the Shadows and with the Earth Civil War. But then Earth has to climb in, and they have to take the lead, or humanity anyway takes the lead in helping found the Interstellar Alliance, or B5 Federation. But still, that's like 100 years before Kirk and Pike and these guys, as they're just crisscrossing the middle part of our own galaxy there on a whim almost. So I don't think that flies, and the Star Wars galaxy just feels so much older and more crowded. You know what I mean?
Well, it is tens of thousands of years old. Was it 50,000 years old? 100,000 years old? And the technology is fairly advanced?
Well, that's because every couple hundred years they fucking break it back down to nothing again. If it wasn't the Mandalorians or the Sith or the Empire, somebody was trashing the galaxy down. So it's very interesting. That actually seems very B5 like too, because the Minbari and whatnot were fighting the Shadows 1,000 years before.
Mm-hmm.
Earth was still in the midst of the Middle Ages.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah. And I thought that was a neat story twist, by the way. Fun.
Oh, when they sent B4 back into the past to be the base of operations for them. Yeah.
Yeah. Because every other base was destroyed, and B4 was the last base of operations that the Minbari were able to use.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good stuff. You would think that the Minbari would have been a little more. Wait, hold on. Was B4 had happened? There would have been. Okay, hold on. Now I'm figuring out a plot hole here. B4 would have had information on the Earth Minbari War.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But remember Sinclair, but Sinclair was there.
Oh, that's true.
With Vorlons, right? So
that's true.
They approached, they come on board, and Sinclair went and did the hybrid, like the reverse hybrid to become more Minbari, like Delenn to become more human. So he did that, and he shows up, and there's two freaking Vorlons floating out of their encounter suits over their heads, like angels on a wing. And so I'm pretty sure they weren't like, oh,
We need to analyze all the memory engrams in this space station. No, just take the resources you got. I gotcha. All right, that's fair. That's a fair counter.
You know, I mean, I'm sure Sinclair probably, you know, had them wipe some of the data. Like, oh, maybe we should keep this quiet.
Nah.
Just wipe the computer. Just wipe the computer core. Don't re-scramble all the systems. Just wipe out the library.
We're coming up on our deadline, DT. Do you want to? We got a decision to make. Do we want to do one more, or do we want to tease it for the next episode?
Oh, you want to do a part 2 on this, huh?
I mean, honestly, we're gonna have to. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of aspects. We could do crossovers within franchises, crossovers between franchises. We haven't talked about the two biggest ones, which I'm not going to mention, but we know they exist.
We've sort of.
And Disney owns 2 of them.
Yes, that's true.
Actually, 3 of them. Disney technically owns 3 of them. Wait.
Yeah, Disney owns a lot of things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I do have one interesting question for you, my friend.
Yeah, let's entertain questions. Let's do it.
Before we go out, which universe, and you can't say the obvious one, which universe would the Orville best fit in?
Wait, I can't say the obvious one, which would be Star Trek, but
correct.
Interesting. I am going to have to say I'm racking my brain for any other potential franchises right here. Okay, so we're talking about best fit, not just general what if craziness, right?
Yeah, which one would be the most likely? I mean, that's why I had my piece on why I thought Battlestar Galactica and Firefly fit the best together from my perspective, and why I thought Star Wars and B5 might fit well together.
My decision is going to be a little controversial.
Sure.
Stargate SG-1.
Interesting.
Because
both
Stargate
pop culture heavy.
Well, yes, both, but actually almost shared culture. 2, Stargate SG-1 was basically leading up to what the Orville was going to be. You could almost say that Stargate was a proto Orville, with the way that Earth was working interstellarly, with their ships, with the use of the Stargates. Yeah, I would agree. I'm totally with that. Man, I wish Dave was here. Dave would back me up, I think. Or he would back you up. I don't know. He's his own man, driving his own bus.
Yeah, that's true.
By the way, shoot. I do want to give a plug to Dave's new channel from these Sci-Fi guys. I just gotta find it for frack's sake. It's like bus stories, or I'm not. Shoot. Here we go. Bus Vibes. It's Bus Vibes, everybody. Take a look. Dave will take you into the whole intricacies of school buses and different buses. It's actually pretty popular. So
yeah, because there's probably the market's probably not as saturated, I'm sure.
It's definitely not. I actually said I'm going to start a channel about boats. It doesn't matter what kind of boat. I'm just going to start talking about boats, and that's going to be my channel. I don't have a boat. I don't own a boat. I'm never going to own a boat. Used to own a boat, but I'm not going to own a boat because my experience with boats is awful. So, but yeah, bus vibes, everybody. Take a chance. I do think Dave would back me up, though, that Orville and Stargate are pretty compatible in that regard, even though they're like thousands of years separated or hundreds of years. I don't remember what the year that they take place in the Orville, which supposedly is production is beginning to take place again. So
excellent.
I know.
So
it's been like
they are doing another season.
Yeah, season 4 is about to start, like production.
Good.
I know it's really good sci-fi. I need to just rewatch Orville. Man, that's good sci-fi. That's just good stuff.
So you think it fits best with
Stargate? Yeah,
I can
really
see that. They're both highly sarcastic.
I mean, yeah, that's a factor. I mean, it's a shared culture, like a compatible kind of thing. Like you can't have a multicultural society. You can have a multi-ethnic society.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I do. Yes.
Yeah. So
I do. I feel like this is there's a lot of tangents we could go down with some of these, and it's very
so many. You literally opened it up. I mean, unwittingly.
Kind of wittingly.
Yeah.
I did want to talk about it. You know, I started with just a thought for B5, and turned out B5 was the hub of all the spokes on this one. It felt like,
it really
which is kind of interesting because we usually just pivot off of Star Trek or Star Wars. So this was kind of a nice change of pace.
I
mostly because
being a B5 viewer now.
What's that?
Halfway through. I feel more informed being a B5 viewer, having watched through half of season 4. So I'm not as ignorant.
That's a good
as I
season.
was a couple years ago.
Poor B5. It got the Game of Thrones treatment, kinda.
I agree, and that's something we can talk about when I finally finish, and it'll be soon. I promise.
Yes.
So.
Oh no, it's worth it. It's worth the finish. Is that where we want to draw the line on part 1?
I think so. I think we got to wrap it up. But anything else, DT?
No, man. Despite the technical difficulties, this was a good conversation. I like when we do these things. You know, they might be a little esoteric, but they're always interesting. Yes.
Yeah, they are fun. They are fun. I like them too. So, all right, everybody. On that note, until the next time, we are those sci-fi guys. You guys keep dreaming. We'll keep working. I'm P.S. McKay. It's out there.
And I'm DT Cavman. And from up here on the high ground, I can see so many more crossovers.
Those Sci-Fi Guys is an independent broadcast by Alpha Sci Productions, produced by DT Cabman and P.S. McKay. Ocean by Music by Aiden, under Creative Commons license. For more information on upcoming episodes, follow P.S. McKay on X at P.S. McKay or go to thosci-fi-guys.com for past episode information. You can now find us on Spotify, so head on over there for our latest episodes. But don't worry, you can still find us on Apple, We're also live on Rumble. You can find us on YouTube with live video podcasts and Facebook. So be sure to leave a like and a comment and let us know how we're doing.
Well, that